guys, before we get into the countdown for the top 10 list, I just wanted to explain real quick how I made my decisions, just so you have an idea, even though I'll talk about each figure individually just a little bit throughout the countdown. I just want to point out that obviously there are tons and tons of good figures, all different styles and types, and so you can't just go by what was the most expensive, amazing figure. You have to go by what are you getting for what you're paying. Did it meet your expectations? So two of the biggest things that I weigh in, that I consider when I'm figuring out a figure, is am I happy with it once I buy it? Did it meet my expectations? And was it was it impressive after I got it? So that's all kind of the one issue. And then the other issue is bang for your buck. Based on what I spent, did I get a lot? So, for example, if you buy a figure for $10, it comes with all kinds of good stuff. Or if you buy a figure for $5, but it comes with absolutely nothing, it may not quite balance out. So I have to kind of figure out that as I'm figuring out which figure I like more than another one, or which I think is better. I try to avoid bias as much as possible, but when I'm picking out a best list, it's kind of hard to do that. So either way, let's get into the countdown and let me know what you guys think once it's all done. Coming in at number 10, we have the Star Wars Black 6-inch series Darth Maul from Hasbro. Now, this was a toss-up for me between Darth Maul and Boba Fett, and what it really came down to was the fact that they were both really great representations of their respective characters, but Boba Fett has just too many restrictions in terms of articulation. His hips weren't that great as far as posability. His elbows were a problem, and he had some fragility issues. So I went with Darth Maul because I think this is just about the perfect rendition of this character. You guys know I'm not even a huge Star Wars fan, to be completely honest, but something about this guy just makes me want to pose it and play with it, and I consider it to be a really good figure. Has the interchangeable heads, the robe that comes off, the dual lightsabers, another accessory. The posability is all there. The display ability is all there. He's fun to have, fun to own, and he looks great. So, really can't go wrong with this guy. I think he's a fitting number 10 to round out the top 10 list. Coming in at number 9, we have the Ironman 3 Iron Patriot figure from Hasbro. It was a really close, just like the Darth Maul and Boba Fett comparison, this was really close between this figure and the Mark 42. I found both of those figures, both this and the Mark 42, to be highly impressive. I was not expecting to get what we got. It was one of those cases where I was quite pleasantly surprised when I opened the package. The figure looks great. He's got great paint applications, great articulation. Sure, he's not 100% perfect in that he can't do a really good repulsor blast, but he is just about perfect everywhere else. I really, really like the paint application and the sculpt. I don't think Hasbro could have done any better at the price point this guy sells for. So as I said when I reviewed him originally, he was extremely impressive, and even to this day, looking back at this figure, really, really pleased with it. It looks great. It's a great likeness, great display ability. It looks good on a shelf, and it's just fun to have. So easily a top 10 worthy character, worthy figure. And again, honorable mention to the Iron Man Mark 42. I think I might have included him if it wasn't for the blue eyes. So that's just a little heads up for you. For number 8, we have the Robot Spirits or Robot Damashi Extreme Gundam Leos type. This figure is highly impressive. It was one of the first Gundams I got, and I couldn't be happier with it. I think it's really, really good. The only reason it's not higher up on the list is the price point. He's a little bit pricey for his size, and the additional add-on parts kit that you can get is super expensive, and I wish some of those parts came in the kit with the figure for the price point we paid for it. That is not to say it's overpriced. Just for the price point it is, I was hoping maybe for just a little bit more, so he fits in at number 8 rather than a higher spot. But he really is just chock full of awesomeness, so you can see in my original review how much there really is to this figure. Even at a slightly higher price point, it's still a super awesome figure, really fun to play with. Even if you're not into Gundams, if you're just into high quality figures, this is easily one for you. Tons of detail, tons of parts, tons of accessories, tons of awesome. Coming in at number 7, we have the SH Figuarts Ironman. This is the standard color for Ironman. They did the, I think, black and gold, maybe black and silver version as well. But for me, this one takes the cake. And he's really on par with War Machine for the most part. But for me, this figure has so much more shelf appeal, as I like to say. It just looks so much better. And War Machine did have some issues with loose joints, so he's an honorable mention. But this, to me, is pretty much the ultimate Iron figure that I've ever spent any time with. And I have been around a lot of Hot Toys Iron Man figures. And for me, the posability just isn't there. So even though they are super detailed and super nice, they just don't have the appeal that this guy has for me. And at the price point, you really can't beat it. There are very few downsides to this figure. One of the biggest ones is just the ankle range of motion, the posability. It's not the best, but just about everything else on this guy is awesome. He comes with a great array of accessories, and the posability is pretty much amazing. It's really, really well done. He looks great. The paints are awesome. Sculpt is awesome. It really is probably the best Iron Man bang for your buck deal you can get. So that's why this guy makes the list at number 7. Again, War Machine is an honorable mention, but if you're just going to get one, this is the way to go. For the number 6 spot, we have the SH Figuarts Green Ranger. This is, in my opinion, the best of the SH Figuarts Power Rangers so far. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It is basically the perfect representation of the base figure. The proportions are all nicely done, unlike the Iron Man figure where some of the proportions were a little bit off. This guy looks just about perfect compared to his on-screen presence. He comes chock full of accessories. There's tons of different parts with the Dragon Dagger and the whatever that other sword is called, and all the different Thunder Slingers and things like that. He's got tons of accessories. The paint apps are good. Displayability is good. Range of motion is fantastic. Really, the only downside to this guy is a little bit of a lack of rangeability or posability in the ankles, but other than that, he is just about the perfect action figure, and at the price point you get him for, you really can't beat it. Super good figure. If you're only going to get one Power Ranger, unless you're just going to get your favorite and it's not him, get this one. This is the one to go with. Looks great all around. Absolutely love this figure. Perfect spot right in the middle of the list at number 6. Coming in at number 5, we have the Play Arts Kai Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition Sakura figure. She is, in my opinion, the best of the Street Fighter Play Arts figures. She is just so well done. She's not without flaws, but she is by far the best, and she's a great likeness, great posability, great displayability. Sure, she might have kind of a short skirt, but I can't really hold that against her, you know what I mean? It just looks pretty good. So I'm going to leave her in at number 5. Pretty good spot for a figure like this. She could have a few more accessories. There might be a few things they could tweak. That's why she's not at the very top of the list, but she is a pretty darn impressive figure. If you're a Street Fighter fan, or just a fan of really cool figures, or if you like bigger scale figures, this is easily one to go with. She is by far one of the best Street Fighter Play Arts figures, and probably one of the best Play Arts figures I own in general. That is not to say she's better than the ones above her on the list, of course, but she's definitely better than all of the other ones. So easily number 5, easily a good pickup if you are looking to get some new stuff. So there she is at number 5. Taking up the 4th spot in the list is the Hasbro version of the Masterpiece Soundwave. This guy is just a phenomenal transformer. He's great in robot mode or alternate mode, even though he's pretty much just a block. That's what he's supposed to be, and he does a good job of it. Comes with the 5 tape cassettes, all the different accessories he comes with. That's what gives him the edge over the Takara version. Sure, maybe the red eyes might make you like the Takara version better, but even with the yellow eyes, this guy with all of his extra accessories takes the cake. He's definitely a great figure, easily a nice companion for the MP10 Optimus Prime. So without a doubt, this guy is a figure you should have in your collection if you are a Transformers fan. He does have kind of a high price point, but for the size and quality, you just can't beat it. So that's why he gets number 4 in the top 10 list for 2013. For the number 3 spot, we actually have a bit of a tie between the PlayArts Kai Halo 4 Master Chief and the PlayArts Kai Halo 4 Blue Warrior. These are two of my favorite action figures of all time. They are both fantastic figures, so I couldn't choose one over the other. I would put them at the very top based on bias, but I can't just because of the shoulder articulation. It's a little awkward looking at most angles, so I couldn't put them up any higher on the list, but they did make the number 3 spot just because they are such gorgeous figures. Even if you're not a Halo fan, this guy is an absolute must-have no matter what. Him, not so much, just because he's the namesake of the game, so if you're not a Halo fan, you may not care for Master Chief, but this guy is just a generic Spartan with an absolutely fantastic paint job. The secondary color silver striping on that metallic blue is just something to look at. It really is a fantastic looking figure, and this guy, you can't get a better Master Chief than this. He is amazingly well done. We'll see how the the 3A Master Chief looks when he comes out this coming year, but for 2013 this guy takes the cake hands down. So either one of these guys fits comfortably in at the number 3 spot. For the number 2 spot, we have a 3-way tie. Now I know this is kind of counterproductive for a top 10 list, but I really just couldn't pick, and since it's my list, I get to put 3 figures in at one spot. These are all equally awesome figures. They all have a few pluses and minuses, so it's really a toss-up. That's why I'm giving you 3 to choose from. We have the Arkham City Harley Quinn, the DC variant Wonder Woman, and the Arkham City 1970s skin Batman. All PlayArts Kai, all amazing figures. Wonder Woman is a much larger scale figure. She's almost, well, let's see, I think she's like 12 inches tall. Let me make sure real quick. Okay, she's 11 inches tall, I'm sorry. So she's a much bigger figure. Same price point as the other ones, give or take. Tons of great detail. The armor sculpting on these variant figures is really, really something else. It looks awesome, and this is easily the coolest looking Wonder Woman figure I've ever seen. It's on par with many of the statues that they put out, so she is really a great figure. Harley Quinn, on the other hand, while she's not quite as impressive in size and quality necessarily, just because, well, actually, the quality part, not necessarily true. She is equal in quality because of just all of the detail. The tattoo they put on her there, around the arm, she's just loaded with detail, and I didn't mean to say quality earlier, so just ignore that part. Her quality is definitely there. It's a perfect representation from the Harley Quinn from the game. She comes with a decent batch of accessories, and really there aren't any problems I can think of offhand. She's just a really great figure. And then lastly, we have the Batman figure that I think is the ultimate PlayArts Kai Batman to date. It makes all of the other Batman figures look bad, except for the Dark Knight Returns Batman. He's pretty good as well. But for me, this iconic look for Batman just puts this one over the top. He's got all of the articulation and posability. He's got the look and the posable cape. Sure, he could have a few more accessories, but he still is easily one of the best Batman figures I have ever seen. So that's what puts him in at number 2 with the other 2 figures as well. Finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, the number 1 spot for the 2013 top 10 figures. We have the SH Figuarts Krillin and Frieza. Either one I couldn't pick. They both are incredibly well done figures. Best bang for your buck by a mile. For the price point, you guys really can't beat picking these figures up. They both come with tons and tons of accessories. They have great articulation. Can't talk. Great paintwork, great everything. The sculpts are fantastic. Additional parts like the Destructo Disc or Frieza's Death Ball, you just really cannot beat the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball figures. And these two are 2 of the best, I think, in terms of price and what you're getting for what you're paying. You really can't beat it. They live up to all the expectations you could have for the figures. Really just phenomenal figures, and they, for me, were an easy choice. Everything else was kind of hard to decide. These guys I knew I wanted at the top of the list as soon as I started thinking about it. So if you're hesitating on picking up either of these figures, don't. You will not be disappointed unless you have some kind of crazy expectations. But even then, they are pretty darn good. So these guys hit the #1 spot on the top 10 list of 2013. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.